Everyone, welcome to class. I'm Trevor, and I post D&D videos every week on Wednesdays. For this video, I wanted to do the first in a series of MTG-inspired D&D homebrew. So here's the thing. I've been playing Magic for longer than I've been playing D&D. You don't really ever quit Magic. I've played it since I was in middle school, I believe, on and off. I played it in middle school, I played it in high school, I played it in college, and I've started recently again when Arena came out and I could play it online. Well, without having to use Magic Online, but I won't get into that. I thought that a good idea for a series for this channel would be to do something that I kind of already do for a lot of my own games, which is to get inspiration from Magic cards. And I can get inspiration, or I do get inspiration from the cards themselves, or from settings, or from PCs, or what have you. And I wanted to share that content. Like I said in previous videos, I'm creating content because I take so much from the D&D community online, and I want to give as well. I don't just want to take. It feels selfish. So the new Magic set that just came out was Kaldheim. And I know that there has already been, or it seems like there's been a concerted effort on Wizards' part to kind of connect Magic and D&D more. Some people don't like that. I'm a fan. Obviously, I play both of these games. There's this Planeswalker's Guide to Ravnica. There's the Theros source book that came out. But obviously, it takes a lot of time to design those things, and there's a wealth of cards that don't have corollaries in 5e, and I kind of want to fill that gap. The new set that came out, like I said, is Kaldheim. In Kaldheim, there are obviously a lot of like snow-themed creatures, there's a lot of Norse inspiration, but rather than creating a homebrew creature, in this case, I wanted to create some homebrew items. In Kaldheim, there are a number of equipment. There are some colorless equipment, and there are a cycle of equipment that create a creature. Now, this all sounds very complicated, especially for those of you who might not play Magic. But the long and short of it is, I'm just going to show you and share with you some homebrew Magic items. First, let's start with this card, right? This is Raven's Wings. It is an equipment from Magic that you can attach to a creature, and it gives them flying and a small bonus to their attack. With this equipment specifically, I wanted to err on the side of caution. Flying in 5e is very powerful. And I didn't think that it needed to do the attack bonus, because you'll see that in Magic, given the nature of that card game, almost everything gives some sort of attack or defense bonus. I mean, that's kind of how it works. In 5e, I don't think everything needs to do that, so I'm probably going to drop that off in a number of these homebrew items that I end up coming up with over the course of the channel. So Raven's Wings, I really just based off of the Wings of Flying from the base game of 5e. I changed some of the specifics because the Wings of Flying said that they could look like bat wings and things like that. But in my rendition of the Wings of Flying, or the Raven's Wings, I wanted them to match more with the kind of mechanical or construct-based wings that are pictured in the card art you can see here. So that one is pretty straightforward. The second equipment we're going to talk about is Goldvein Pick. Now, Goldvein Pick obviously is a pickaxe. In 5e, the technical pickaxe is not a weapon. It is a like adventuring gear essentially, and it doesn't have statistics to actually attack or anything like that. So I based the Goldvein Pick off of a simple hammer, and I made it a +1 magic item. So you get +1 to attack and +1 to damage. But in addition to this, because obviously there's nothing special about it, there's nothing gold about that, right? With my version of the Goldvein Pick, in addition to just having this +1 bonus, when you roll a 20 or kill a creature with the Goldvein Pick, 1 gold piece drops to the ground. I'm going to be honest, I erred on the side of caution with this quite a bit. I came up with a lot of other ideas for this item where, like, whenever you hit a creature, like as long as you beat their armor class, you would generate some sort of gold, like some sort of currency, whether it's copper or silver or gold. I wanted to play it safe because I know that some campaigns are lighter with money or lighter with currency than my personal campaign might be. But I feel like this effect is probably more easy to incorporate it into any game. If you think this is a bit too play it safe for you, then change it, right? Like that's my favorite thing about playing D&D is how much flexibility and fluidity we have in this kind of process, right? We can change things, we can tweak things, we can rule of cool stuff. And as long as the framework is still there and the rules are still there, so we're still playing a game, it all ends up working out, right? And I love that. So this is my version of Goldvein Pick for 5th edition. Now, the last colorless equipment in Kaldheim is this item. It's called Runed Crown. My version of the Runed Crown I wanted to create a magic item that you could give to your players that would have one of 5 enchantments already on it. Now you can generate this randomly, or you can pick whatever enchantment would make the most sense for that particular situation. I base these off of the 5 colors of magic, and specifically the 5 runes that are also in Kaldheim. For example, the white version of the rune, the white enchantment, if you will, if activated, will let the attacker, like we'll let the person who's wearing the crown, gain back half of the damage they deal. Right? Sort of a version of lifelink in 5th edition. Now, all of these effects, or any of these effects, whichever one is activated, once the command word is spoken, it only lasts an hour. Because otherwise, it can get a little bit wonky and it's very hard to balance. I also left an optional rule for this magic item where you could actually use this as a sort of plot hook, and whoever finds this could hear about an NPC or find someone who could add enchantments to the crown. So then, rather than just having one choice where they go, okay, when am I going to say the command word, they could actually have multiple choices. Which rune am I going to use? And you as the DM could decide, okay, can they activate each of them once, or do they have to pick after a long rest, something like that. There's a lot of flexibility there, but I wanted to do what I can to try to, as accurately as possible, reflect the flexibility of the card in Magic itself. A document with each of these items is available in the description of this video. I know that in the video itself I focused more on my creation process, but I'm trying to find the best way to balance how much I can share in a video while keeping it as condensed as possible. If you end up playing with any of these cards, if you end up playing with any of these in your 5th edition campaign, let me know. Or even if you just read them and they seem out of balance or wonky or just incorrect in some way, again, please feel free to give me that feedback. I'd really appreciate it. Now, I obviously left out the equipment cycle in Kaldheim that generate creatures. If you've never played Magic, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But the next video that I'm going to have in this series will cover those items. I didn't want this video to be too long, but I wanted to be able to dedicate enough time to talking about those specific items because I think the idea that I came up with is pretty cool, but it's also kind of complex. So this was the first video that I have in this series. I'm hoping that you enjoy it. If you have any kind of feedback, like I said, drop a comment. And as always, be safe. Make smart life choices.